For 6 months, someone stole my lunch every single day. HR said I was paranoid, my manager said to just let it go. But when I finally got my hands on the security footage, I discovered it wasn't just about food. It was a calculated campaign to get me fired, and the person behind it was sitting 3 feet away from me the entire time. I'd been at Meridian Financial Services for 4 years when they announced the open concept workspace renovation. Gone were the cubicles, the partitions, the blessed privacy. In their place came long communal tables, shared power strips, and neighbors close enough to hear you breathe. That's how I met Derek Paulson. Derek had been with the company for 8 years, mostly in a different department, but the renovation shuffled everyone around, and suddenly he was assigned the spot directly to my left. Our shoulders were maybe 2 feet apart. I could smell his coffee. I could hear every keystroke. At first, Derek seemed fine, quiet, professional. He'd nod when I arrived in the morning and pack up silently at 5 sharp. I thought we'd coexist peacefully. Then my lunches started disappearing. The first time I assumed it was an honest mistake. I'd packed a turkey sandwich, some chips, an apple, pretty generic brown bag. I figured someone grabbed it thinking it was theirs. Annoying, but whatever. I bought lunch from the cafeteria and moved on. But it happened again the next day, and the day after that. By the end of the first week, I started writing my name in thick black marker on the back. Didn't matter. Gone by noon. I mentioned it to my manager, Sandra, during our weekly one-on-one. She laughed it off. Office refrigerator politics, she said. Buy a lunchbox with a lock. Problem solved. So I did. I bought a small cooler bag with a combination lock and kept it at my desk. The next day, I came back from a meeting to find the zipper cut open and my lunch gone. Now it was personal. I went to HR, filed a formal complaint. The representative, a woman named Pamela, looked at me like I'd reported a UFO sighting. "You want to file a complaint about stolen sandwiches?" she asked, barely hiding her smirk. "It's been 3 weeks," I said. "Every single day. Someone cut open my locked cooler." She typed something into her computer. "We'll send out a reminder email about respecting shared spaces." That was it, a company-wide email. The thefts continued. Around week 4, things escalated. I started noticing other problems. My stapler would vanish, my mouse would be moved to a different USB port. Small things, easily dismissed, but they added up. Then came the reply all incident. I sent a routine email to my team, maybe 12 people, about a quarterly report deadline. Standard stuff. 20 minutes later, I got a notification that someone had replied all. It was Derek. His message read, "Maybe if Marcus spent less time worrying about his lunch and more time on his actual work, we wouldn't need deadline reminders." I stared at my screen. Then I turned to look at Derek. He was typing away, completely expressionless, like he hadn't just publicly called me out to my entire team. "Derek," I said, keeping my voice level, "what was that about?" He didn't look up. "Just an observation." "You hit reply all." "Did I?" He shrugged. "Must have been an accident." It wasn't an accident. I knew it, he knew it, but proving it was another matter. The reply all emails became a pattern. Every time I sent anything to a group, Derek would chime in with some passive-aggressive comment. "Interesting approach, Marcus. Not sure this is the priority right now. Has this been approved by Sandra?" Each one undermined me just a little bit more. Each one was technically not a violation of any policy, and each one was seen by more and more people as the email chains grew. I went back to HR. Pamela sighed when she saw me. "What is it this time?" I showed her the email thread, 37 messages deep. Derek had replied all to every single one, questioning my competence, my priorities, my judgment. "These seem like normal workplace communications," Pamela said. "He's targeting me. This is harassment. He's giving feedback. We encourage open dialogue here." I left her office feeling like I was losing my mind. The stolen lunches continued, my desk items kept moving, and Derek's reply all campaign expanded. He started CCing people from other departments, directors, VPs. Every email I sent became a public referendum on my work. By month 3, Sandra called me into her office. "Marcus, I've been getting some concerns from leadership about your performance." My stomach dropped. "What concerns?" "There's a perception that you're unfocused, that you're creating unnecessary email chains, that you're not collaborating well with your workspace neighbor." "Derek is sabotaging me. He's stealing my lunch. He's moving my things. He's deliberately undermining me in every email." Sandra's expression shifted to something like pity. Marcus, those are serious accusations. Do you have any proof? I didn't. The break room had no cameras. My desk wasn't monitored. Derek was careful, meticulous. I think you should take a few days, Sandra said. Clear your head. Come back fresh. I took 3 days off. When I returned, there was a formal written warning in my inbox: failure to maintain professional working relationships. Derek apparently complained that I was creating a hostile environment by accusing him of theft without evidence. HR sided with him. I was put on a performance improvement plan, 60 days to demonstrate collaborative behavior and improved communication. If I failed, termination. That night, I sat in my car in the parking garage for an hour. I'd given 4 years to this company, good reviews, completed projects, and now I was 60 days from being fired because some guy decided to wage war over a shared desk space. That's when I remembered something. The parking garage had security cameras. Okay, I have to stop here for a second, because at this point, I was genuinely considering just quitting, walking away, letting Derek win. Tell me honestly, would you have kept fighting? Subscribe if you think I was right to dig deeper. Drop a comment if you've ever had a coworker who made your life a living nightmare. Because what I found on those security tapes, it changed everything. The next morning, I went to the security office before anyone else arrived. The guard on duty was a guy named Terrell. We'd chatted a few times over the years. He was a Dolphins fan, I was a Jaguars fan. We'd bonded over mutual AFC South misery. Hey Marcus, you're here early, what's up? I explained the situation, the stolen lunches, the sabotage, the PIP. Terrell's expression grew serious. Man, that's messed up, but I gotta tell you, the break room doesn't have cameras, privacy policy. I know, but the parking garage does, right? The elevators? Yeah, we got coverage there. Derek parks on level 2, same as me. If he's bringing my lunch out of the building or throwing it away somewhere, maybe we can catch it. Terrell thought about it. Technically, I'd need authorization to pull footage for something like this, but he glanced around. You've always been cool to me, Marcus. Let me see what I can do. 3 days later, Terrell called me. You need to come see this. I rushed down to the security office during my lunch break. Terrell had footage pulled up on his monitor. I went back 3 months, he said. Watch this. The timestamp showed 12:47 p.m., about 6 weeks prior. The frame showed the elevator bank on the second floor of the parking garage. The doors opened and out walked Derek. In his hand was a brown paper bag. My brown paper bag. I recognized the way I folded the top. Derek walked to his car, opened the trunk, and tossed the bag inside. Then he closed the trunk and walked back to the elevator. He did this almost every day, Terrell said. Sometimes he'd throw it in the garbage can by the stairwell, sometimes in his trunk. But look at this one from last week. He fast-forwarded to another clip. Derek again, elevator doors opening, but this time he wasn't carrying a lunch bag. He was carrying my cooler, the one with the cut zipper. Derek walked to his car, opened the back door, and placed the cooler inside. Then he pulled out a knife, a small pocket knife, and cut the zipper. He removed my lunch, tossed it in the garbage, and brought the empty cooler back upstairs. He staged it, I whispered. Terrell nodded. That's not all. He pulled up another file. This one showed Derek leaving the building at 8 p.m., way past his usual 5 o'clock departure. He was carrying a box. We checked the sign-in logs. He came back that night after hours. The box? It had your stuff in it. Your stapler, a picture frame from your desk, some folders. He was stealing my things and bringing them back the next day? He was moving them around, messing with me. I had him. I finally had him. I asked Terrell to make copies of everything. He burned it all to a flash drive and handed it over with a warning. You didn't get this from me. I could lose my job. I promised to keep his name out of it. The next morning, I walked into HR with the flash drive. Pamela was at her desk, and this time she didn't smirk. I have evidence, I said. 6 months of documented harassment, theft, and sabotage on camera. I plugged in the drive and played the footage. Pamela's face went pale. By noon, Derek was in a conference room with HR, his manager, and the head of security. I wasn't allowed in the meeting, but I heard later what happened. Derek tried to deny everything, said the footage was doctored, said I must have staged it somehow. But when they searched his car, still parked in the garage, they found 17 of my lunch bags in his trunk. Some still had food in them, rotting. They also found a notebook. Inside were detailed notes, Dates, times, a log of every email he'd sent about me, every item he'd moved from my desk, and at the top of the first page, in neat handwriting, Operation Phase Out, get Marcus terminated by Q3. He'd planned the whole thing. Every stolen lunch, every reply all, every subtle undermining comment. It was a 6-month campaign designed specifically to destroy my reputation and get me fired. Why? That's what I wanted to know. The answer came from Derek's former manager, who was finally willing to talk once Derek was suspended. Apparently, before the workspace renovation, Derek had been up for a promotion, senior analyst, but the position was eliminated in a restructuring, and my position was created instead. Same pay grade, same title. Derek believed I'd stolen his job. I hadn't even known the position existed before I was hired into it. Derek was fired the next day, not just for the theft and harassment, but for the premeditated nature of it. The notebook sealed his fate. HR called it a calculated campaign of workplace sabotage, their words, not mine. My PIP was rescinded. Sandra apologized personally. Pamela from HR sent me a formal letter acknowledging that my concerns had been mishandled and promising a review of their complaint process. I also got Derek's desk. Well, not exactly. The company finally realized that maybe shoving people shoulder to shoulder wasn't the best layout for productivity. They brought back partitions, short ones, but still, boundaries. Last I heard, Derek tried to file for unemployment and was denied. Then he tried to sue the company for wrongful termination. The notebook killed that case before it started. As for me, I still work at Meridian. Got a promotion last quarter, actually. Senior analyst, the position Derek thought should have been his. And every day, I bring my lunch in a new cooler. Combination lock, reinforced zipper. Old habits. Thanks for sticking with me through that whole nightmare. If you've ever dealt with a desk neighbor from hell or a coworker who made your life miserable for no good reason, drop a comment. I want to hear your stories. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next one. And if you've got a workplace horror story you want me to share, send it in. Your story could be featured in the next video. Until then, watch your lunch and watch your back.